Today, remember you just had your lesson on converting a fraction to a decimal. So for this particular activity, you will need to actually show your work and then simply do that. Follow our cowboy method where we turn the cowboy rides the horse. Remember the cowboy goes into the house, so we look at the one at the top, goes into the house. He kicks off his boots, hangs up his hat, so we put our decimals right in line with one another, and eats 3 donuts while the horse stays outside. So I know we only practice with 1-digit numbers, but you do the same thing with 2-digit numbers. So you start and you say, can 50 go into 1? No. Can 50 go into 13? No. So I'm going to put a 0. So then I scoot over and I say, well, can 50 go into 130? And yes, 50 can go into 130. So let's think of our multiples of 50. If we count up by 50, 50, 100, 150, 200. Oh, but I could have stopped back here because how many groups can we go into with 130 without going over? We can go 1 group, 2 groups. So 2 times 50 would be 100. So we do 130 minus 100. And we bring down a 0. So now I think, how many times can 50 go into 300? Well, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. Oh, we hit our magic number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 groups can go into 100. So 6 times 50 we know is 300. So we are left with 0 remainder. We don't need to bring down our decimal. So we're 13/50 as a decimal would be 26/100. And while this is not part of what we have to do, remember if we wanted to turn this into a decimal, we would just move 2 spots this direction, into a percent, so it would become 26%. But we can leave it as a decimal. Our activity said fraction to decimal. Now number 3, be careful. We still follow the same rules. We turn the cowboy rides the horse, so the cowboy, and this time the cowboy is the larger number. The cowboy goes into the house, he hangs up his hat, kicks off his boots, and eats 3 donuts. And the horse stays outside. So this looks more like a traditional problem because our larger number's on the inside, but we follow the same rules. So 2 goes into 11, and I could count up if I know my 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, 12's too big, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups go into 11. 5 times 2 is 10. 11 minus 10 is 1. And then I can bring down my extra 0. So now I start the division process over again. I think, how many times does 2 go into 10? 2, 3, 4, 5 groups goes into 10 because 5 times 2 is 10. And I have 0 left over as my remainder, so I do not need to bring anything down. So as a decimal, 11 halves is the same as 5 and 5 halves, or 5.5. You can leave it as a decimal, that's what our directions say, but just an FYI, if we wanted to turn this to a percent, we would move this 2 times. So this would actually be a huge percent of 550 percentage